This is Billy Jack Haynes, former WWF Pro Wrestling superstar, and this is Monte and the Pharaoh, the #1 ever radio podcast in the world.
It's 2009, and I've been suffering because Hulk Hogan was so mean to me, and Linda Hogan doesn't care about my feelings. She said terrible things about me. She said I stole child support money so that I could buy Louis Vuitton handbags. And I'm sorry I look ugly, but I gotta tell the truth, and I need to come free. And Linda Hogan and Hulk Hogan squashed $1 million deal during the defamation lawsuit that Hulk Hogan had going. They squashed the deal for Brutus after he went to Good Morning America. And after he went on social media and posted, and I'm sorry, all my fans for having to make fun and looking ugly and having a pimple, but I gotta let you know the truth. Linda Hogan is a fucking fraud. The Hulkster. The fucking fraud. The only person that was ever nice to me was Hulk Hogan. Despite hearing things about me, she never passed judgment on me. She just accumulated all to, quote, family drama. So, please, Linda, stop being a fucking cunt. Would you please? And Terry, Hulk Hogan, you've had plenty of time to rectify the situation with Brutus, and you just won't. And I'm not sorry that I rejected you. It's not about that. But it's about you being a disgusting human being. I'm sorry. Look at my nails. They're ugly. I got no nails. I got no eyelashes. Woe is me. Linda, stop being a fucking bitch with your $40,000 a month alimony. What the fuck more do you want?
All right, welcome back to Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast. Monte The Pharaoh, seen out of studio again, Jimmy, as we still are in renovations. I'm shooting from my room. You're shooting from Wahoo Saloon. Jimmy, one thing I've learned, my friend.
Yeah.
Don't fuck around with Missy Beefcake. She will destroy you. Do you understand this?
I popped ribs during that. That is a masterpiece. That is a masterpiece. No, I'm literally crying here. Thank God I wasn't on the audio for that, because there was a laugh track accompanied with that, bro. I was dying. That's a masterpiece.
Thank
oh my
you.
God.
It is a masterpiece. Well, let's introduce our two guests, the Beefcake family, Hall of Famer, WWE Hall of Famer, Mr. Brutus Beefcake, pro wrestling icon. Sir, thank you for joining us. And close friend of mine, and probably the most outstanding person I know, Missy
Aw.
Beefcake. Thank you
Aw.
for joining us.
Thank
All
you.
right, guys. So
Thank
let's just
you.
hit it. This show is all yours.
Here we go.
Linda Hogan, right?
Yes.
Hulk Hogan drama. What's going on with that family, guys?
I don't friggin'
No.
you know, it's a tough one. When I saw Linda, breaking down and crying, and I'm thinking to myself, this fucking broad saying, I want him back. I've given him so many chances to come back to me. Like, who the fuck wants him? Not me. I mean,
Hey, can we start at step one? The first thing I thought to myself is why on earth would you even go public with something so personal?
right?
What's the point? Yeah, I mean, that's
And then the next day, she puts out a statement and says, oh boy, narcissism runs in the family, and Brooke's a drunk and broke my shoulder. And like, what the? But
yeah,
Bruce
never heard
knows
nothing about that.
Linda to be a drunk.
Total drunk. You kidding me?
Drunk.
Every day at 4 o'clock, buddy. Sure as the sun comes up in the morning and goes down in the evening, 4 o'clock, after that second bottle of wine was done.
What's wrong with having 2 bottles of wine a day?
Well, no, that's just starting out the day.
I mean,
It got ugly after that.
that doesn't, like, that sounds,
Doesn't make you a bad person, but if you can't handle it, then
I look ugly. Look at this.
no. Yeah. It's like delayed, like
Yeah, no, it is. Yeah. All right.
So let me ask you, right? You know, Brutus, you've been close with Hogan for a long time, and you've watched this unfold. And Missy, you've been involved. You know, you've been on the show. You told some pretty tough stories.
But true.
Absolutely. Is Linda a good person?
Linda, a good person. I would say only for Linda.
Wow.
Pretty much her whole life. It's all, her family, her mom, her dad. I mean, just they were elites, California. But they were better than Linda. Thought she was better than everybody.
Even though she was a nail
She
tech.
drove her red
Okay.
Corvette around. Well, obviously she didn't earn it. She had everything thrown at her, given to her. And
And she spent a lot of, look at her.
her dad was
It's funny.
helicopter on the helicopter patrol for California Highway Patrol. He flew choppers.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool. But, here's the thing. Linda is a vicious person. I mean, clearly to attack Brooke like that, just completely out of the blue. Terry told us that even after, like, he was dating, what's her head, Jennifer, the woohoo, and Linda called him up and she said, I talked to my mother. My mother said we need to be together for the kids. Put your fucking wedding ring back on. We're getting together. And Terry said no. I don't blame him. I can't say I blame him, but
Guys, do you think that Hogan really owes her anything at this point? I know you're not exactly on great terms with the Hulkster nowadays, but does he really owe her anything at this point?
he owes me. And I think if she had been smart, she would have been Team Missy Beefcake instead of Team whatever else. No, you know what? Here's the thing. If she didn't make him the way she says she did, and behind every great man there is an alcoholic wife, then sure. But she went about things, I think, the wrong way. She said her lawyers they got all the money and they ripped her off. And, but the sad thing is,
She got over $30 million.
no, Terry got $30 million
Oh, no,
from
Linda
Gawker.
got. No, I'm not talking about Gawker. I'm talking about the divorce.
Oh,
She got 30. I was told it was 38 million.
and she got that boat alimony. That's pretty cool. I'd take that boat.
Well,
So
what were your sorry, Jimmy? What were your thoughts about when that whole breakup happened and she was dating that 18-year-old kid? I mean, when you guys are sitting back looking at this, what are your guys' thoughts there?
We're laughing pretty hard.
Yeah.
Guy's a scrub. Guy's a scrub.
But clearly she has bad taste in men anyway. So I say, you know what? She probably. I mean, I hear things about the Hulkster having a grandiose
Right.
it was probably a nice break for her vagina to have a 18-year-old boy or however old he was. It was probably like
what you gonna do? What you gonna do?
What can you do? You take it or leave it.
We call them pencil dicks. So,
Oh, is that what we call
not
it?
what we refer to a guy like that. It's like pencil dick.
Pencil.
I'm sure he was.
Brutus, let
Number
me ask you this: when Linda Hogan came out with her book and accused you and Hogan of having a homosexual affair, how did that affect you? I mean, listen, dude,
Well,
you grew up as his friend. You took care of the guy, right?
Yeah,
And
in so many ways.
in so
You
many
have no
ways.
idea. Kept him out of trouble, kept him on the track, kept him in the gym, kept him in the right track all the time for years and years. Did the right thing.
So when she takes a shot at you like that, how do you handle it? Because I don't know if I could handle something
Well,
like that.
I hopped on a plane, flew to Chicago, went on Good Morning America live on the TV to, address the allegations directly. And
On the word of Hulk, the Hulkster sent you.
on the Hulkster and their breakup and the whole thing. And we were on a trip in Canada, a wrestling tour in Canada, Nova Scotia. And
That's when Terry sent nasty,
he-
sexy text messages to me and pretended to be you.
he flew in on a private jet just to be there to that. And then first thing he does, he comes up to me and he's all excited. He goes, "Oh man, Brutus, you can't wait," because this was right after that whole thing. And he says he got this super duper lawyer
Attorney.
in Florida, and he's filing suits on both our behalfs, one for me and one for a defamation suit. He goes, "You're going to get $1 million out of this, no problem. Hey, it's great. Be happy. We're everything is great."
Right? We're moving to Florida. The suit's happening.
And
And so here's the thing. So it was like, so we're going to file. Terry's case is going to get filed, and then Brutus's case is going to get filed after. So after Terry settled with Linda, got the house back, and whatever else was going on, Brutus was like, "All right, this is great." And they're like, "Yeah, we're not taking care of
called
it."
the lawyer. I said,
We're not
"Hey,
gonna
what's
do it.
going on with my suit?" Maybe we better talk to Terry. So what do you mean?
They
He said
negotiated Brutus's case away
Yeah.
to settle with
He
Linda.
threw me
Well,
under
yeah.
the bus.
We'll get rid of Brutus's case if you settle this, and we'll just, what?
Ouch, that one hurt.
Obviously, it hurt. And is that when the relationship started to fall apart after he did that to you?
Yes.
No.
Well, I mean, not exactly, but
No, I mean,
it still was the start of it, though.
I don't, because we hadn't quite moved to Florida yet, and then we came down to Florida, and we met Jennifer, who is
Bird, he called her.
Bird. Yeah. If you ever called me Bird, you know what I would do to you? I would shit on your head. I would fly right the fuck by and shit right on your head.
It's a British term of affection. Easy now. Oh my God.
It
easy there.
is?
Well,
Yeah.
they call them birds. Yeah, the
Yes,
girls
they
over
call
there.
them birds. Brutus, break it down a little bit for me, though.
She looked like a bird, though.
Oh my God. Where does it really start, though? I mean, did you start spending? Obviously, you must have started spending less time with Terry, business wise and stuff. What is this? How do we really get to the point where such a great friendship goes to shit?
We're I was in Boston. My daughter was there. I was trying to make sure she was taken care of, and she's going to get to a school and get to college and shit, which she did. Became a nurse. Everything turned out perfect.
Nice.
And God bless her. Her evil mother has kept her from speaking to me or seeing me for the last 15 years. My own daughter won't see me.
That's another story
Yeah,
altogether.
But
Okay.
yeah, but oh yeah, Hogan. They fly down her and then they fly down to Hogan's place and hang out with him and
Bertha does.
they're
Alana
on-
doesn't. But
they're
that's not
on
the question.
this and that and everything's all
No
hunky
question.
dory, but she wants to see her father. Okay,
Stick to the.
I digress. Where was I?
The
Were there,
question is.
were there conversations with Terry where you, I mean, obviously you talk to him all the time, consistently for years. He's your best bud. I mean, were there conversations where
Every
you started
day.
to
No, he
realize?
used to call me every day. Missy would be talking to him on the phone. We had it on speaker. He'd call and talk for
But he would hate when I would answer the phone. He would hang up.
30 minutes to an hour every
Get
day.
pissed. His dick got in a knot when I'd answer the phone. I didn't want to answer the phone. This one, answer it.
Was there any direct conflict? Like, can you recall one particular phone call where the two of you were like, you know what, fuck off?
No, we were like, all it was every phone call. When you moving down? When you coming back? When you coming back? When you coming home? When you coming back? When you coming home? And when Missy and I finally went to Florida to look for apartments, remember? And you got to meet him, and he sat there and kissed your ass for 4 hours straight. I mean,
Figuratively.
in the car, we were going to
Yeah,
Bubba the Love Sponge racetrack
Uh-oh.
to watch racing, and
Fun.
the whole time, all he could was sing the praises of Missy, and she.
Jennifer stayed home. Jennifer
didn't go.
She was having like anxiety, I think, because we didn't know.
Went to dinner the night before with the
Yeah.
lawyer. Missy's personality, you guys know, she completely overwhelmed this broad. She had a pea brain, okay? Her brain was that big, and that's being generous. So Missy completely overwhelmed her, and so she didn't even want to be around her. So the next day,
But we didn't know the whole sex scandal unfolded like as we were in Florida, like during all of this time, meeting Jennifer, meeting Terry, talking about we had sex talk. The Hulkster was very, very interested in Brutus's penis. Because at that time, not now, but at that time, Brutus had what people call a Jacob's ladder. And look it up.
I know what it is. Oy.
And he was very, very interested in. Can you feel that? Like, do you like? I was like, I don't want to talk about, his
My husband's penis.
our sex life.
well, we had to get rid of those, but still got my nipples first.
So now let's just fast forward until recently. Obviously, there's between both of you and Hogan. When you see him come out on Raw, for example, and he gets booed, how does that make you feel? Do you feel happy about it, or do you feel bad? Like, I want to know the emotions. I speak to Missy often. I know how she feels about the situation and how she tries to protect you. How do you guys feel about that?
Here you go again. I was on the first Raw ever.
Nobody cares about
And
you.
been to multiple times when they have Raw, and he's there, but he can't speak up enough for his brother to get me out on just to walk out on live TV and blah blah blah. No, that can't be done.
That's
like
not the question.
3 or 4 times.
No, but
He loves to talk about. My husband loves to talk about himself, and he's cute as a button. He will always revert to.
But he should talk about himself because it's there is a respect thing that goes on here. Right?
I want to get the story. I want to get the story out. You know what I mean? I want people to understand that there's a whole plethora of shit that has gone down, and and right now it's a good time. I mean, the Hulkster is, he got booed. How did you feel when he got booed? I told you about that.
Well, we have an old saying in our in our business, and it's what goes around comes around. Okay, and him getting booed and this, got in trouble with The Rock for using the N word, and it's been a thing that's been building for a while. And WWF took him out of the Hall of Fame. I mean, they didn't just do that for nothing. He had some serious heat. A lot of people didn't like him, and I just didn't want to be anywhere near it. And I'm lucky I don't have any baggage, that kind of crap. And I have a great fan base, loyal fans.
Just a little cocaine thing with the MBTA, but aside from that, you're good.
Oh,
Jeez.
Shutting down the MBTA.
Hey, those are not facts that are not in evidence.
I know. It was a goody pill,
That
goody powder. It was goody powder.
That was
It was goody powder.
it was goody powder.
So let's play this way, Missy. Let's get the entire story out. I want you to tell the entire story of Hulk Hogan and the Beefcake relationship and all the things that in between, right? Between the ex-wife and the tweets and
Right.
the attacks on you personally. And again, I consider us very close friends, right? I met you about a year ago. You've been nothing but kind to me. And Brutus, I hope you don't mind I speak to your lovely wife. You know how I feel about her, though. She's cool as shit.
I don't want to steal this whole thing be about me. I want her to be about her.
Here we go. Thank you.
That's it.
So I mean, it's easy you could talk about my bullshit for years.
I want to know.
I want you guys to,
This is why Vince never let him talk.
hold homage to her. Oh yeah, I have my own TV show. You can talk about
TV show.
Yeah.
Barbershop.
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 Yeah. So
here's the situation. The only thing, here's my take, and I've been so very, very hurt since 2009, and my fake crying, mocking Linda. Yeah, it was satire, but really, for my real feelings. I came to Florida with this hope and this dream. I'm meeting my husband's best friend. And, and I told Terry when we were out, I said, I didn't come here to hang out with Hulk Hogan. I came to meet my husband's best friend. And, and he said, "Ain't no Hulk Hogan in this truck, brother." He kind of got a little pissed. But, and we had a good time at Bubba's, and we had nice dinner, and, there was some sexy talk in the kitchen, and, whatever. He, "Oh, you look sexy," and hugs and this and that. And of course, like I said, he was interested in Brutus's junk. And, and other talks about, wife swapping and, whether Jennifer liked girls or not. It's just, it's really, it's innocent talk in a way until the situation with Bubba unfolded. Then it was like, oh, okay. So there was like a little method to his madness. And then I understood why Jennifer was she pulled back, because we were in the hot tub and we had those conversations. And, and all the while I'm battling back and forth with his ex-wife, and, women fight over, it happens, and I think that Barbie and I are both really, strong-willed minded people. I don't think she's as sharp as I am. She's, not dealing with a full deck. And I don't blame her for being mad. But then Linda Hogan starts chiming in. I don't know Linda. Oh, see the two fanny packs? That's when you were carrying Terry's drugs.
Jesus.
She, then
Let's
Linda
put that up
starts-
again real quick. I just got to put that up.
Yeah. Put it
Remember
up real
that?
quick.
Look, you remember that? Wait, ready?
what?
When you had the two
No,
fanny packs?
absolutely.
That was what?
One's got the blow, one's got the pot.
Yeah, there you go.
Damn.
You got to be telling the truth.
What a good
Yeah.
friend, huh? You want to talk about a friend? That's a good fucking friend right there.
You ain't
Okay.
kidding. You ain't kidding,
Keep your
man.
shit
Wow.
safe, buddy.
So now, like, I'm being attacked by Linda. Linda's saying Brutus and Terry had a homosexual. Want to hear how naive Greg Valentine is? Speaking
Go
of,
ahead.
so
Oh,
Greg, he, then Greg's like, oh, I can't believe Linda and all that stuff. I said, well, you know what happened? Hi, Greg. I said, you know what happened, don't you, Greg? He's like, no, what? I said, I was in the room and me and Terry and Brutus were having a threesome. Linda came in and the two of them sandwiched me and put their arms around each other so Linda didn't see me. And she thought the two of them were making out. And Greg believed that. I was like, that's a good story, but it wasn't true. Obviously, but he believed.
Oh,
That's a good story.
Greg would believe about anything.
Yeah, he's not all there.
Well, let me. I got to ask you this then. What is it about you, Missy, that some of these wrestlers get angry at Brutus for being with you? What do you think what's the issue there?
She, in a way, in a big way, is my manager. Okay, she takes care of all the logistics and the stuff for my travel, and makes deals. And makes fantastic deals. She worked for the lawyer making deals for 8 years before
He's so
all this stuff.
So
she was good at it. No, she was good. And they are such losers,
baby,
that she embarrasses them. She slaps them like bitch slaps them, makes a deal, and they're embarrassed to even tell their friends or people how bad she beat them up.
Here's the thing. The thing is that Brutus, when he was married previously, well, first let me answer your question. To answer your question, I think that a lot of the guys had hot wives, hot girlfriends back in the heyday. Some of them married women, obviously married women. Some of them married these women and they're still together. But there's a lot of baggage from back in the 80s. And I'll tell you, if I was married to him in the 80s, it would never be, never would happen. Like, I couldn't deal with it. And I don't know how some of these women can deal with it. Must be fucking love. Must be love. So when I think, Brutus and I are together, we're a pretty good looking couple. I like to think I'm, well put together.
You are.
And I think that they see us. This is like a second chance love story. And I think a lot of guys wish they could go back there and have that, like Tito Santana and his wife. They're married, they're happily married, and they're in love.
30 years, kids.
Yeah, for so long, right?
Business together.
They're still lovebirds. Greg Valentine and his wife Julie
still together.
But she calls him a fucking asshole every single day. Like,
Brutus, can I interject? Can I ask you, how did it make you feel when Greg Valentine went public and was slamming Missy and saying you no longer have friends in the industry? Like, basically to me, and forgive me if this is just my perception, when I hear that coming out of him, it's almost like he's calling her Yoko Ono, if you understand what I'm getting at. How did it make you feel when he was saying those sorts of things?
Well, I was pissed, and he's said some real stupid bullshit over the years and stuff. And
he says it for Julie.
Because he's trying to win points with his crazy ass wife, and that's how he thinks he can. He just can talk about people. He's it's not the first, second, or even third time he's done some stupid shit involving her or just involving me, and I don't even want to fucking pay attention to it. I know he is what he is.
Yes, I think if it was true, it
really doesn't matter. It's just bullshit. Doesn't matter. If I got worried and upset about every time I heard bullshit that people talked about me in the years, I'd be walking around hanging my head the whole time, because it's just a sure sign that you're doing things right if people are talking about you. Right. Not always going to be talking good about you, but that's the world. Okay, that's just the world. The haters are out there. They want to hate. They want to have something to talk about. Hey, they want to talk about me. Go right ahead. But the world knows I'm fucking cool. And so they can hate on me all they want. And people don't pay any attention to it because they know it's bullshit. And it's cute.
Aren't you cute?
Brutus, it sounds like you found a place to put it mentally.
Oh,
Because
where are you going with that, Jimmy? I was.
well, you know, I mean, to
Not
me,
so
look,
much anymore. Just on the weekends.
I would think just like everybody else, Brutus is a human being, and like you know, when he has a problem with a Hogan or he has a problem with a Valentine, I'm sure for at least a split second he thinks to himself, "God damn it, what the fuck." And then you compartmentalize, you put it in a safe space. Ah, fuck it. It goes in the fuck it room, is what I'm saying. So is it something like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's
You see,
very
Mike, I did it. I
passive.
described it. There you go.
He's very, very passive. You can't ruffle this guy's feathers. Me, I'm a lunatic.
No,
I'm
not
coming
you.
out swinging.
That's some other chick. What are you talking about?
You know, yeah, no. He's passive, kind, and just, and that's why he
Honorable
gets
person.
fucked over a lot by
My word.
the likes of
I
the
keep my word.
Hulkster.
You know.
You do keep your word.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I'm not interested in your wiener. Figured I'd throw that in.
That was funny.
Throw it in. Another one of those innuendos. You gotta cut it out with the puns.
Well, throw it in.
How
long
is
this thing?
So we recognize that Brutus can departmentalize this, but what about you, Missy, as being his wife, and that's the man you love? How do you handle it?
There you go.
I go fucking bananas. I go nuts. I don't mind telling people off. I mean, I speak my mind and I try to do it as eloquently as I can when I get the chance. The problem is that I don't always have the chance to explain myself because no one really gives a fuck. People are like, yeah, oh, Greg called Missy Beefcake a cunt. That's great. Oh, Hogan says Missy's difficult. Oh, this one says, who's gonna, what am I gonna do? Were you going pee-pee? You get a drink? You get some wine?
Yeah.
Just bring the bottle. Do something. Do something, Daddy.
Call the bartender.
So you're trying to make a statement that you don't have the voice as these other guys have.
Yeah, no, I can't, I mean, I have you and through you, I mean, people will tell me, hey, I heard you on, Monte and the Pharaoh, or hey, I saw this, or hey, so I do, but my voice isn't as big as a Hulk Hogan. And I think he really kind of, I mean, I love the video. I have to say, him and the new wife eating the popcorn. I liked it. A lot of people say it was in poor taste. Me, I'm like, yeah, that's fucking funny. But it's not nice, but it's funny.
Missy, are we looking? But this is what I don't understand, right? So your husband has this long-term relationship with this guy, a very long-term relationship. Yeah. Was Hogan always like that, or did it eventually evolve into this situation? In your opinion?
My thought from listening to things and kind of like putting things together, he said on a couple of podcasts that he had that book The Secret. He had it on like an audio tape and he had the navigation system disconnected in his car. And they tell you not to listen to shit like that while you're driving because it kind of does hypnotize you, right?
Mm-hmm, right.
So he's got this ex-titty bar worker wife, Jennifer, and she gets him all into this, The Secret, the book, and he starts listening to it, and he starts really, like, believing it, and he gets wrapped up in it, and then he's guilty because he cheated on her with Bubba's wife, and he's got the gawker shit, and she's with him, but I think that he's been under mind control. He was with, I don't want to say anything bad about churches, but the Agape church, that Agape guy, Terry told me the Agape guy wanted to borrow like $150,000 from Terry. And at that time, Terry didn't have any money. He was broke. He's been under mind control quite a bit. He believes his own story. I mean, he signs his text messages HH. I mean, the fuck? And I remember one time, because guys, they used to text back and forth, and Terry texted Brutus and he wrote something and he signed it HH, and I texted him back and I signed it BB and sent it back, and like Hogan texted back and said, "What a rib," you know. But he's under this, and now he's with he's got the Scientologist, you know, wife, and even though, you know, they got baptized in the whatever John the Baptist, I don't know what is it, Baptist? He's a Baptist now,
Right.
allegedly, supposedly, whatever. You know, that Scientologist stuff that doesn't leave your mind, and I think that he's a weak-minded person, clearly, to believe shit. Like, I challenge him. Tell me, Terry, tell me what I did specifically to you that you didn't hear from his ex-wife or Linda or Jennifer, or what did I do specifically? Because when I left his house, I was the greatest thing since fucking sliced bread. I walked on water. I walked on water. And then the wind shifted. The next thing, the Bubba the Love Sponge
Tide
thing
came in.
out. Hit me, Daddy. Thank you. The tide came in, the thing shifted, and I was the devil because I rejected him. And the guy has a big ego, almost as big as his head, his nose, or his feet.
That he tripped over when he played baseball. I'll never
That he
get over
tripped
that one.
over, he couldn't even run around the bases.
Hey, did you know he was the bass player in Metallica? Come on now.
Oh,
Metallica.
yeah. We heard about that. What else?
Ruckus, so they had a good band. His band was good.
The George Foreman grill. Did you see that the Foreman's
George Foreman
kids-
just died.
Right, but his kids came out and said that Hulk Hogan was a fucking liar. He told me the same thing. He said he almost got the George Foreman grill, but he didn't answer the phone in time, and they called George Foreman next.
And so that, yeah, I heard they said he was lying about that.
He is lying.
So he is lying. So has he always been a liar?
He's always about him.
Yeah.
You know, he's sort of the ego. He is, yeah. His ego is so freaking blown out. It's ridiculous.
Brutus.
That was the biggest problem when Missy attacked his ego, attacked him straight to his face. I don't know. I really don't know who you are, and I don't care. She goes, I'm here for Brutus. That's all I care about.
We were telling him how we met in a Boston Garden and blah blah. And I said, the minute I saw him on TV, that was it for me.
And how loved we were, and how great things were with us and everything. And he was so fucking jealous out of his mind because he hated his wife so bad.
But so he said, I go, the first wrestling match I ever went to, I went because I saw Brutus and I wanted to meet him. I had to meet him. He goes, you were in love with him? I go, yeah. He goes, what about me? Wow. And I said, I don't care about Hulk Hogan. I was never a Hulkamaniac. I was never a Hulk Hogan fan. I was always a Beefcake fan.
His name never came out of your mouth ever.
Brutus, so, I need to know. I really do. I need to know, what was it then that made you best friends with this man? There has to be some positive things before the shit hit the fan. What was it about Terry Bollea that made you best friends with him? You guys were magic together. As a wrestling fan, I'm saying this because I watched both of you growing up. I mean, you guys were great. What was it about Terry that made him your best friend in the first place?
I think it was my mothering instinct. I was always like the one to do everything, to make sure everything was right, to take care of everything. Kept us out of trouble. In the 40 years we were together, we never even were pulled over to get a ticket in the car. Never got in any kind of trouble. Been in a million bars where huge fights and shit broke out and all this kind of crazy stuff was going on.
But what did you,
But I kept us clear. I steered us clear.
Why did you like him so much? What made you guys become friends? Because he destroyed you on one of the shows and said that, you were like a little puppy dog hanging around. And he was younger than everybody else. And he was hanging out with the cool kids. After the initial bullshit they put me through. And then
we were
Haynes
together on big time, and we're together. We went through a lot of shit. We shared. We lived in a custom van for 3-4 months in Pensacola while we're wrestling just to make gas money and food money because we couldn't afford a hotel room and stuff. So there's a big time bond and stuff. We get up in the morning, stop at the Chevrolet station. What's it called?
I don't-
Chevron station.
What do I know?
Yeah. There you go.
Chevron
I'm too
station.
young for
got
Chevron.
Splash water in her face, and then go to the gym, work out. Didn't take a shower. Boom, go out to Pensacola Beach and meet the Samoans and some of the guys. We all meet out there every day. Bunch of the boys. Some of the guys live at the beach, but and it was an amazing time. I was just a young 20 years old, whatever, 19, 20 years old, right out of high school. I had just I'd gone from 170 pounds, maybe 6 foot 6'1", 170, and after 2 years of training and working out and shit, I was 6'3", eventually 6'4", and
This is why
270.
I'll let you
Ooh.
talk.
And as big as him almost. Even though he was 40, 50 pounds heavier, we're still almost the same size.
You went through thick and thin together.
We
So
did
what-
do a lot of shit.
What,
We went
but
up
what
and
what do
down the
you
road.
what do you say to the wrestling fan that says, "Well, Brutus, if it wasn't for Hogan, you wouldn't be in a position you were either in WWE or
Okay.
WCW."
No, you can.
Well, no, but you have a unique perspective on it because
I do.
she actually opened my eyes to the idea because I that it was me pushing him, not him dragging me along like a baggage that's unwanted. And okay, yeah, you got to get this kid out. No, it was me pushing him, me getting him to where he needed to be him the right place at the right time, always on time, always safe, everything for years and years, so that when shit happened and then all of a sudden they're giving away contracts and Vince is paying him $1 million. You know what they were paying me, right? Nothing.
Nothing. Yeah,
They'd be paying me a couple grand. Yeah,
$150,000.
we were making several $100,000, but we deserved it. But I mean, he's getting a check for a WrestleMania of $1 million for WrestleMania. Same WrestleMania, I got a check for 10 grand.
Mm.
They're always,
Right.
and like I said, behind every great man, there is an alcoholic girlfriend. But sometimes behind, the friendship that they had, and I believe still, they'll always be friends. I know that Brutus will never consider Terry anything other than a friend because that's just the person that he is. But when people say, "Oh, you rode Hogan's coattails," I hear Terry telling stories, and they'll say like, how come some of the guys are dead and you're alive? It's well, instead of being out all night long, drinking, I was, I did my thing. I got up in the morning. I went to the gym. I worked out. But the truth is, and the fact is that Brutus was the one driving him to the gym, and
Waking him up, getting him to the gym,
and they had this. Here's the thing:
getting him to the show.
Terry always had like kind of steady-ish. What is that? Corey Everson, Tori Everglades. What's her name?
Corey Everson.
Corey
First
Everson.
Miss Olympia.
Olympia.
She
5 times
was
Olympia.
so obsessed with Terry. She loved him, and they dated for quite some time. As a matter of fact, the alleged, when Linda said that Brutus was blowing Terry or whatever the hell she said, or she threw Brutus out because he had a girl over or something like that. He did. It was Corey Everson's friend that you had over the house, and Bruce and we weren't even doing anything. We were just watching movies. But Terry had a girlfriend, so he didn't have to be out at the bars trying to scoop up the ring rats or the girls that were all smothering all the wrestlers, because he had somebody. He had his wife, and then he had his girlfriend. So in Brutus, I don't know if you had a girlfriend or a person or whatever, but they were to get the two of them.
Might have been
always together.
terrible wife number one.
Terrible wife number one. We don't want to talk about her. She's another.
Well,
Another one sitting around, got a couple kids, and once I'm sure my face goes across the TV screen once in a while, and maybe she'll tell her kid, hey, that might have been
That could have been your daddy.
Your daddy. But
I fucking
since I'm a scumbag.
But I don't blame her for breaking plates over your head. I would have done the
that's not
same thing.
true.
I would have done the same fucking thing.
So I got I got like a couple of tough questions because I know how Missy feels about it. I want you both to answer. B. Brian Blair was on the show. Obviously, you had that special Dark Side of the Ring they did on Brutus, and one of the major
What
things.
did that dick have to say?
Well, this is the question. So Brutus, obviously, we all know that accident kind of threw you off course on your career, right? It put you out of action.
Ended my career, basically,
Yeah.
but
you on a big run.
Yeah.
I was on the big run. You know.
Yeah, you were going to be the Intercontinental Champion.
I was going to be the world champion. That was just the next step, and the link in the next link in the chain. Go ahead.
No, that's fine. I just was Brian Blair at fault for your injury?
Not so much directly, but
Brian wanted to
because
get laid.
he showed up at this party and disrupted the flow and the plans and pissed my buddy off so bad that he actually went and got in the boat to try to pull them in the parasail. That's bullshit. And that's how I got killed, basically, in the accident. Because they had to get this girl in a stupid parasail for whatever reason, so they get their dick sucked or something. I don't even know. But all I know is it changed my life and nearly ended my life. It's for the grace of God that I'm still here, and I thank him every day. And I mean, hey, I could say, cuss Brian Blair every day of my life, but that's not the kind of person I am. I look at it as I got a second chance at life, and I got a chance to do it, keep doing it again, and do better things, and do something with my life. And
you probably would have been dead anyway with all the drugs you were doing. I'm like,
it was
he
just
did you a favor.
I don't second guess my luck. People say, would you do it all again? Well, I would love to do it all again, except for that accident. But hey, I'm not complaining. I love my life. I am lived 50 lives. I've been around the world 50 times and, wrestled for 1 billion people all over the planet. How could you be any luckier than me? And look what I got. Look what I married and get to spend my life with.
That's the most.
I got great
grandkids,
right? Beautiful grandkids.
He gets to spend the rest of the time. The cunt. Next time Greg calls me a cunt, I want him to say,
you should punch him in the friggin' mouth.
I'm not just a cunt. I am the cunt. And take note.
I'm going to slip the brass knucks to you. So he can punch. She is strong, brother.
He got
Oh
the
my
old 1-2 last night.
She is strong. Tell you, I was gone for a weekend, and our bedroom's kind of small for a giant king size bed, California king, with a that raises up and down, adjustable bed. You know how heavy those fucking things are in a giant.
Right.
I come home and the whole fucking bedroom is switched around. I was like,
I thought I had guys.
how many people did you get in here? She goes, nobody. I go, you couldn't do this by yourself. Oh yeah, I did it by myself. I was like, you're out of your fucking mind. You're crazy.
A couple of bottles of wine and, off to the races.
Yeah.
She was hulking out. Look out.
Hercules, baby.
Listen, so both of you also on Dark Side of the Ring on the Marty Jannetty episode.
Yes.
What happened to Marty? Why did Marty fall off of grace like he has, and why can't he seem to recover from his issues? Or maybe he has. I haven't spoken to him in a while.
I hope he
He's
has
still
a little
fucked
bit.
up.
It goes all the way back to that day in the barbershop where he got kicked through the window or what, thrown through the window, whatever it was.
So it is your fault. It's your fault. You
No,
realize
it's
that?
my fault. It's
Why
me.
is it always the
It's my
barbershop?
fault. Ask anybody; they'll tell you it's my fault.
Again?
Sean
Sure, you can
Sean
find some
and
people.
Vince had already worked out a whole deal, and it didn't involve Marty
Marty was a fuck up.
in any way, shape. But he
Marty
wasn't.
was a
He
fuck
wasn't
up.
that bad. If he wasn't any more of a fuck up,
They
and
got fired.
Sean,
The two of them
well,
got
because
fired.
Sean put all the heat on Marty.
Because Marty took it.
Well, Marty was an idiot, but he sometimes you make your bed, you got to lay in it. No, I mean really,
I just
you
thought
gotta
something
fucking,
crazy.
you
but I'm
know.
not gonna say it. I was gonna say Marty.
You do more shit than me, but I can fucking
Brutus,
steer
Brutus.
around. I missed the fucking potholes and the
Brutus,
fucking shit. I didn't hit it.
Did Shawn basically set up Marty for
Yeah.
failure behind the scenes?
Oh
behind
yeah,
his back?
completely. Yes,
Wow. Damn.
completely. There was
Marty knew he was getting kicked through that window.
no, but
They did it twice.
you missed what I'm trying to tell him.
Right.
That
I don't believe it.
what do you mean you don't believe it?
He hasn't said it yet.
After this match and they're breaking up,
Yeah.
that there was a big game plan for Shawn.
Right.
There was no game plan for Marty.
Right.
Right.
And they didn't tell Marty that at all.
No,
He
no,
had-
no. I
he
heard they
had-
wanted Marty to be the next Doink. I heard that.
It was whatever bullshit story might have been going around. That they fucking ran. Not only threw him under the bus, they threw him under the train, and then fucking ran over him 47 times. Marty just
What
didn't
happened? What did,
didn't
where
kick
did
out of
Marty
that.
end
He
up
went
going?
on a binge.
Yeah.
He went on a drug fueled liquor binge
I
and
think
everything.
Marty is a bit of a sex addict too. Not there's anything
Well,
wrong with that, but I think that
It was wild in the 80s.
We don't know that whole story, the bowling alley story. We don't know if that's true or not. Could be. It might maybe is in some way. I don't think he killed the guy, but I think that when someone messes with you as a young child or a boy, whatever, it sticks with you. It messes you up. It can make you a bit of a sex addict, a drug addict. He had a bad growing childhood,
Yeah.
bad childhood, and and the 80s and drugs and it must be hard to go from being up here, Marty Jannetty, blah blah, to being like, oh, remember the guy that got kicked through the window and locked. Did he ever wrestle? Where did he wrestle after that? Anything?
All independence.
All
He went on.
Brutus, do you think there's anything to, like, the Beatles' original drummer Pete Best? He spent years with them on the road, cutting their teeth and becoming the Beatles, and then they booted him for Ringo, and he turns out to be, of course, Ringo turns out to be in the most famous band ever. Is it similar somewhat? I mean, Marty was a star, but once him and Shawn are separated, Shawn ascends, Marty crashes. Is this like a Pete Best? I mean, what is this?
Do you know who Pete Best is?
Oh yeah.
I think did you miss the Beatles thing?
Yeah.
Get what he's singing?
Yeah, I get what he's saying. Yeah. Well, Marty, just my opinion, I thought Marty was the better wrestler and that was the better part of the team. But Shawn knew how to play the game.
Shawn was good.
Marty was naive. Didn't have a clue what Shawn was doing to him behind the scenes and how he was scheming with Vince to do all kind of shit and the Heartbreak Kid and all that on and on and on. Good to be the world champion, and they just flushed poor Marty right down the shit pipe.
Well, that's
Never thought
honey.
twice about it. Well, I mean,
That's show business.
it happens.
When you see Shawn Michaels with the born again thing nowadays, what do you say? Bullshit. What is your thoughts about the born again Shawn Michaels?
Yeah, I think it's bullshit. It's easy to say, oh yeah, I believe in God now when it's convenient and things are going and people are asking.
He's
and
not doing
shit.
anything bad, though. He's not doing anything bad. I mean, you know.
Is he doing anything good?
I don't know. He's born again. Maybe.
Well, they asked him to come to Florida to meet with me for some whatever we were doing for the dark side, this and that, and he couldn't be bothered.
No,
Yeah,
that's not true.
Uh,
Video. He was at NXT in Orlando.
Yeah, but he
And you
could
did a video.
he could have come and been there and done what we were supposed to do, but Shawn being Shawn,
Dark side? I wouldn't travel the dark side.
was
Oh,
Got a little conflict going here in the Beefcake family.
I mean, I wouldn't I wouldn't. I'm Shawn Michaels. I'm not traveling any.
It's always
dark
staying
side for
in
the
this family.
$4,000 they paid him. Probably. I mean, fuck. Let me do it via text.
Missy, let me ask you this, right? So
Darling.
obviously everybody's getting older, right? And you know,
Except
life well, except you. I know
And
I'm getting older and fatter. And you, Jimmy, you're not getting
Yeah.
older either. Yeah.
No, I refuse.
Do you hope that maybe one day your husband connects back with Hogan and they kind of rectify this issue before something bad or tragic happens?
That would be nice.
I think it would be great. Honestly, I think I don't think there's any room for me in that relationship, and I never wanted to be part of that relationship. Very rarely do I feel emotional, but I feel emotional because I think that, you know, to go through the life, the traveling, the, you know, the partying, the closeness that they had there was never a problem with Linda. Some of the wives didn't like each other. Linda was this and this one was that one. And the wives never came into play when it came to the guys. It wasn't until this mind control came in. And I think, you know, Terry he's kind of weak. He's, you know, he got pussy whipped with this Jennifer and no, he did. You know, and I think that, I think it would be a beautiful, wonderful thing just because of everything. Nobody, you and I will never go through anything like they went through. There are a million people on the earth, and there are probably only a handful of them that'll go through the things that these two went through. Nobody else will ever understand
where we got to get to the top.
Yeah.
The top. And,
it's
ride the big wave, go to the big show, you know, and do it.
And I get all the
again and again.
I didn't.
Hey, wouldn't change it for nothing.
I don't care.
I love it. It was the greatest, except for Miss and Missy, greatest days of my life.
Mike, am I allowed to nerd out and say that I really hope that they do make up?
No, of course. Why wouldn't you?
Because this kills me.
It goes beyond wrestling, right? It's a friendship, right? This is real life stuff, right?
Well, his parents, I was really close to his mom and his dad before they both died. And my parents, Terry never was around my parents much. They really didn't know him. But he did. My dad was in the hospital after a heart surgery, and he did come to the hospital once to see my dad. And I know it meant something to my dad for him to show up. And but was my dad in bad shape. But I mean, he lived and wound up being.
We don't want to have to get out the Kleenex, so. Get out the Kleenex, but I do think, you know, and like I said, there's no room for me. I don't want I never wanted anything from him. Not his dick, not his.
So let's end it this way. First of all, I want to thank both of you. Brutus, thank you for what you've done for the wrestling industry. This is the end, but here's what I need from you, Missy.
Darling.
Send the message out to Hogan to end this show on what he needs to do to rectify this situation with your husband. Because again, this relationship, and for any wrestling fan and on a personal basis, we're hoping that it gets fixed.
I I will tell you exactly what the Hulkster needs to do. And he knows it. He already knows. All he has to do is pick up the phone and say, "Hey, brother."
Yeah. Meet me down
That's it.
at whatchamacallits and let's have some sushi.
Let's call it.
And we'll have some sushi and a couple of hot sakis and
He knows.
talk
if
about
he-
old times.
Pick up the telephone and say,
Simple
"Hey."
as that.
That's it.
Simple as that.
Brutus, any chance you might pick up the phone first, or is that out of the question?
His number's
He
blocked.
won't answer. He won't answer my calls. I
He won't
try.
answer.
He has to go through Ronnie
Wow.
the Redneck at Hogan's Hangout or whatever the fuck it's called.
I think didn't he just pass away?
Ronnie?
I think so.
No.
No.
The
Ronnie?
guy that worked at his shop. I thought I saw that he passed
No,
away.
I
or
don't
something.
see how. No, I don't think so. No, I
Okay.
don't know. If Ronnie,
I
just saw him a couple months ago.
You.
Okay.
Ronnie passed away.
no, I was when I was going to the
Oh, the pot
to the
shop?
yeah
What's the name of that place?
LG.
The pot shop?
LG
Yeah, the what's
Clearwater
it called?
Beach.
When where they sell pot? What's the name of
The
the?
the cannabis
Dispensary.
dispensary?
It's a
Yeah, dispensary. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's right above his merchandise store.
And
Ah.
it's Brutus's very good
So,
friend.
I-
Matt.
I'm going to the dispensary.
What's the name of the
and-
dispensary?
LGH.
LG.
And I walk by
Clearwater.
Hogan's place, and Ronnie comes running
Oh, there you go.
from the back out the door and chases me down, stops, and we talk for a few minutes, and blah, blah,
I
blah.
didn't hear about that.
And I told him, I said, tell the big man, I said hello and, whatever. And,
Probably didn't tell him.
and I never heard
Jealous.
anything or anything. So, it is what it
Dude,
is.
Terry is so old school. He doesn't like women involved in the boys' business. And when Brutus did a signing at his shop, he said, Jimmy Hart will call up and go pick up the check. He doesn't wait for the check to come. And Brutus said, "Oh, will you call and see if the check is ready?" I said, "Sure. What's the number?" I got the number. I called, "Hey, Missy Beefcake, is the check ready?" But Terry had a fucking meltdown. She called. He calls me she, her, or his wife. He does not call me by my name. Maybe bitch. I don't know. I never heard that. But she, her, or his wife. That's what he calls me.
He hated the fact that Missy was my business partner, and she did the logistical, handled the things that my brain got bashed around a lot, boys, and my memory is not what it used to be. And she is sharp, and that's what she's good at. So why in
That's why I
God's name
have all the
would I
passwords.
not want her to be on top of this shit? So makes my
likes to be
life
on top.
easier. Yes, and so our life is good and it's easy because we both know what we're doing. I'm out there on the road. She's making sure I get out there and get back safe.
That's it.
It's a team. Let's call it teamwork.
Right.
And that's what we've always been all about, me and her.
We are a
Love
good
it.
team.
Yeah, we are.
We
All
are a
right,
good team.
super hard question. You ready?
Yes.
Is Hulk Hogan a racist?
Ooh. Oof.
No.
You're on audio too, Missy, so we got to put it on audio. You're shaking yes, but is that a no? What do we got here?
You know what? I'll say this. Just remember, we got to play his theme song. He doesn't want to come back a blizzard. If you're a black millionaire, then you might be I. N-word. That means use my friend. But look what he's done to his friend to the end. He is a real shitty friend. That is not
Put
right.
this on high harmony.
She's the fucking best.
Look at my dog. Look at go, baby.
This is one funny lady.
You know what, Brutus?
You like it?
I told her today. If she ever divorced you, I'm bringing her on the road. She's gonna go. She's going on tour. She's gonna be a comedian. Could you imagine she would clean house?
We need to put her to work more.
Yeah.
You got her.
We
You
have a
got
good
her.
time.
I've seen of what's out there, and this is way better.
Where's my
Yes,
good
yeah.
So
I have a guitar. My
God.
prop.
your
but it's-
ukulele. She had the
but
little
it's missing.
ukulele.
I just
All right,
Yeah.
we're gonna hit you with the Pharaoh's final question, and we're gonna
Okay.
call it a night.
I
Pharaoh,
have a
go
final
ahead, buddy.
question.
You've got the final question.
You
Oh
get it.
my God! I can't even process it.
Burger King or
Ukulele,
Right.
McDonald's.
Yeah.
unbelievable, unbelievable. Brutus, honestly, when Hogan got booed at the Netflix show,
Oh, again.
I got to ask you because look, I am a fan first and foremost, and I felt that I felt it was disrespectful for the fans to boo Hogan because whatever he may be as a person, when he comes out there, he's the damn character, and I just felt like it was taking a shit on Hogan's entire contributions, which one way or the other, Hogan's contributions are immense as far as
Immense.
contributed to this business, whether it was his heel turn, whether it was the
Yeah.
birth of
No
WrestleMania, all
argument,
the,
brother.
so like when Hogan is booed, and I know it's the younger generation doing it. It's not the people who watched him and watched you. It's not, for the most part. It's the younger generation. Does it bother you that the
I
internet?
feel bad. No, I really do. I feel bad, but I also have the attitude. Well, sometimes, like I said, what goes around comes around. Sometimes you reap what you sow, and
You don't think it was political?
political.
Yeah. I
Well, it
think
was
it's
in California, and Hogan had
Yeah.
just previously, sponsored Trump, was at his rallies and stuff like that. There is something to that. I don't know if that's fully it. I just feel like it's more the current internet generation of wrestling fans. And let's face it, the internet is 90% negative. That's just the facts.
Yeah.
And Hogan to me is like a Trump or a Vince McMahon. He's very easy to take shots at. And it's true. These guys have all given the public opportunities to do it. But I just feel like with the internet negativity, Hogan is target practice. And I really feel that that was an internet-driven generation of newer wrestling fans more so than anything.
Yeah, but I think he set himself up for it.
He
really.
did.
He
No, he
did.
Set
did.
himself up for
He
it.
did.
did.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Can't deny it.
he could have done it better. Could have done it better.
Yeah, but now he's got that skunky beer, so
Oh, it's
it's
fucking-
good.
I was going to ask if
Terrible.
you had any in the fridge.
No,
guess
I heard
not,
it's
huh?
terrible.
It's terrible. You
Sales
tried
are
it?
dropping as we speak.
Did you try it? Would you sneak one before
No.
Missy could see the can? I mean,
Hey, I
what-
got a couple cans of my beer up here. Though.
Yeah, you got some.
there we go.
You got some
Micro-
IPE.
A
Or
couple different micro breweries have made Brutus Beefcake beer.
They sold two
He
whole
the first one.
beers. They sold two
No, they-
beers.
2 6-packs.
Two 6-packs.
I
Both
gotta
to
get, I gotta
Brutus.
get some Brutus
Now I'm sorry.
Beefcake beer.
One
Does
to
the-
Brutus and one to one 6-pack to you and one 6-pack to the Newton Police Department.
Does the back of the can have Marty going through the window?
No, but when you open the can, it sounds like glass breaking.
Oh my god. All right, guys. Thank you again, and
All right.
it's such an honor to have you guys on the show.
Thank
So,
you, and I love you so much. Thank you for always being so kind and
You're
wonderful
the
to me.
greatest. You're
And
the
I
greatest.
can't believe I got Brutus to sit down for a whole hour. This is
You
what
are-
I don't
you-
know.
you
I might have to give him a
you are
blowjob or
kidding.
Suckered
something.
me out.
Oh my God.
Only like 10 minutes. I said, so I'm just, you're going to bring me in for a little cameo, make a little appearance. And then, because I wanted her to.
But
she'll keep you
guess what?
going.
You both cleansed yourself. We cleansed ourselves, and everybody got to hear truthfully what Hulk Hogan's best friend and his real best friend, his wife, had to say about the situation with their family. I mean,
There's so much more. This is all like tip of the iceberg, easy peasy, highs and lows, highs and lows.
Easy.
6 G's easy. But there's so much more. This is light and fun and stories. But it's so serious, It's so serious. And I think that, someone needs to be, exposed.
Life is
What,
too short.
but the real shit. My life has been, targeted toward. I get a bad reputation. I hear shit all the time about how difficult I am from people I don't even fucking know.
I have no idea what
Pretty nice.
who she is or anything about it. And then it's funny because the people I deal with all the time love her. They're like, Oh yeah, yeah. I'll say, hey, call Missy. You know, if there's any details or anything, call Missy.
That's
Oh
just not
yeah,
a sucker.
I love Missy. She's the best. She's the easiest person in the world
Yeah.
because she don't take no shit. You can't. I've smartened her up to all the tricks, so you can't start talking bullshit to her.
He smartened me up. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well,
Well,
Monty and the
wrestlers, you
Pharaoh,
know,
Monty and the Pharaoh are
wrestlers
Team
code.
Missy. We're Team Missy.
Thank
You know
you.
that.
Thank you.
Jimmy,
This
send
way-
us out, buddy.
You've been watching Monty and the Pharaoh with Brutus and Missy Beefcake, and we will return shortly. Later.